The library. Look! Jobs! Weird, like, when it was painted, it was like, hey, look out the window, we're all working, things are great. Now it's like one of the graffiti murals after someone gets shot or hit by a car. This mural is really affecting you. I forget that we live in separate realities. Mine's clearly better. Pumpkin dead. Head guy. Hey! Closing in 2 hours. Okay, cool. Any idea where the microfish is? Microfish. Microfish! 3rd floor. Okay, thank you. Up, up, up. Slow night? Yep. Spooky here, all alone. I'd be spooked. Larry's wandering around here somewhere. Looks like someone left something open on this one. It's a resume. Bob Targ, born in 1967, 50 years old. Let's see. Experience: mining, construction, well drilling. I never think about getting a job when I'm old. 50's not really old. I mean, you should have money then. Right? Ideally. It should be like guaranteed. Should be guaranteed in general. You gonna join my young socialists chatterbox group? Holy, what? Is Charity Beardy? What's Charity Beardy? How'd you not know about Charity Beardy? I assume this is from something from school. The school of being 5 freaking years old. Alright. So what is a thing you liked as a kid? No, I hated Charity Beardy. It does look really hateable. It was like you're kidnapped by a cult, or you're under some kind of curse where a cute thing followed you around 24/7, yelling about like sharing and not littering and paying taxes. Well, that's an important skill. I was 5. I'm 20 now and still haven't paid bills. Charity Beardy goes to a state infrastructure budgeting meeting. I forgot the worst part. It always rhymes. Charity Beardy. Oh no, Azerity. What's that? Reason the 2 bridges in and out of Saltstown are still closed. Oh wow. You still can't like go to Saltstown? You're welcome to try. Geez, they sure made a lot of these books. I think they're still making them. There's one this one looks pretty old. Charity Beardy, Danger Everywhere-ity. That's vague and disconcerting. Could have just kept updating that one book. Going up. Going up. Oh wow, it's dusty up here. It's old up here. Sure is. Maybe your ghost is up here. Yep, ghost. Or something. Whatever it was. Whatever he was. He walked through a chain link fence. Or flew over it. Or something like that. While carrying something. Alright. Well, that's even more impressive. So we're going to go find this guy because he took someone and he's like somehow connected to this thing we've been going through. And that's not good. That's all sounded a lot more badass in my head. It's okay. It was fine. Alright, there she is. Cool. So, I have no idea how to use it. Really? I can't know how to do everything. I'm sorry, but what expertise have you brought to this thus far? This whole thing was my idea. No, your idea was ghost hunting. My idea is to do at least a tiny bit of research on it. If you think it's so stupid, why are you here? Because you're my friend. You snitch. Oh. Oh, we friends, Beatrice. Here, let me get this set up. We'll be here all night if your dumb butt is in charge. Alright, so what are we looking for? I want to steer. No. Move, I'm steering. Ow! Jeez, May. I'm sorry. Okay. How do we do this? Step 1. Look at the screen. Step 2. Move around and look at stuff. Step 3. Find ghost. Sure. Tragedy at Stafford Mine. An explosion occurred at 6:20 at the Stafford Mine. All work has ceased while men attempt to rescue any survivors. So far, 3 men have been pulled out alive along with 20 dead. The explosion occurred 10 miles deep in the mine and only one group of men were able to escape before the elevator's rope snapped and the next group of men plummeted to their death. So far, hopes of finding more survivors is low. The main path to the tunnel caved in due to the explosion and supervisors are still attempting to piece together exactly where everyone was during the accident. Okay. The Stanley T. Possum statue is officially opened to the public. We have to say we are smitten. For 2 cents, one can enter Stanley and spend quite a lovely time looking the Possum Springs of yesteryear in the museum, enjoying some popcorn and fresh lemonade and snack parlor decorated with Tiffany glass electric lights before heading up a full 10 feet to see the sights of our beloved town through the eyes of this grand possum. There is even a beautiful train drama that will delight both young and old. We predict Stanley T. Possum will be a sight that all passing through our town will desire to behold, and will be sure to draw many crowds. Underground glasses afflict many. The houses on Large Street have been evacuated, and the discovery of gas buildup in the basements will have found to have led to hallucinations and scattered members of the household. For the past several weeks, residents have been complaining of family members who began hearing voices or seeing things that were not there. One older woman who found having an animated discussion with an empty chair. When pressed, she calmly explained that she was talking to her sister who had passed away for some 50 years ago. 2 nights ago, the son of Carson Zimmer ran out the house and leapt into Cooper's Pond, a mile up the road. Moments before, the child has been readying for bed, and according to another sibling, became increasingly agitated. The last words he uttered were about some sort of song before he dashed out of the house and into the night where his watery grave awaited him. This last event persuaded residents to request help from officials to see if this is related to St. Louisville's lantern phenomenon, where exposure to specific underground gases led certain victims to experience walking dreams, auditory hallucinations, and sense of unseen presences. Preliminary tests indicate that gas is present in homes, and mining officials are moving the residents until more tests can be completed. Samuel Coulson has purchased 10 acres of land out on the outskirts of Possum Springs. When we inquired as to what Mr. Coulson would use the land for, he would only remark that what was coming here would delight both young and old for years to come. We are very anxious to be delighted. Local ghost Little Joe at it again. As the young children are quick to inform you, Possum Springs has at least one resident who won't show up on any census survey. Little Joe, purportedly the ghost of Joe Shade, a miner who died in mysterious circumstances some decades ago, is a favorite spook story of the whimsical and weird members of our community. His most recent activities seem to involve getting up out of his coffin in the old section of Possum Springs Cemetery and strolling around, unnerving visitors to the largest graveyard in Deep Hollow County. His grave has become a destination for unruly and often destructive local use, and as such, Possum Springs City Council is considering erecting an iron gate to protect the historical tombstones that will fill the small hollow where Joe Shade lies buried. Police have also stepped up patrols in the area, so be warned, thrill seekers. You may not see a ghost, but you may see a fine for trespassing. Ooh. Possum Springs and Progress Springs and Possum Springs. Randolph Stafford. Ooh. Randolph Stafford, owner of the Bells Hole Mine Works, has partnered with Samuel Coke Works, Daniel Gillick, railroad magistrate, and prominent business owner Harrison Strages to make some stunning improvements throughout the town. The four men desire to build a model of progressive living right here in Possum Springs. The old miners' double houses on Elm Street will be torn down and replaced with spacious single homes. A new elementary school will be opened nearby along with a new state-of-the-art recreation center courtesy of Arnold Applebaum. This is in addition to the improvements Randolph Stafford promised the previously striking miners. There has been another sighting of the albino groundhog from a very reliable source this time. Edgar Stewart reports that he saw the pure white beast digging near Shade Gap. Mr. Stutter has declined to give any more of an exact location and implores his fellow hunters to admire this anomaly from afar and leave him to his business. We could not agree more with this understanding, citizen, and remind townsfolk that if you are interested in seeing an albino creature, to stop by a sturdy barbershop for a peek at an albino raccoon. We're certain this will assist your mind in completing the search for the groundhog. The Stanley T. Possum statue, known by residents as Posse, is finally slated for demolition. Posse closed in 1967, but Richard Colson, son of Samuel, has had hopes of refurbishing the statue for new generations. Posse stood silent for close to 60 years, witnessing the beginnings of the demise of the railroad, the mines, and the coke works that ushered in his existence. Teens and other vandals broke into Posse. Over the years, climbing up through Posse became a rite of passage for many young people in the area. Residents have been torn over what to do with the beloved but derelict structure over the years, but 3 years ago pressure began mounting to have it torn down. A storm knocked off Posse's ear, and the next year Ralph Jenkins fell from the staircase and broke both legs. Samantha Carson Blick, daughter of Richard, finally agreed that it was time for Posse to go. The demolition will begin at 12 p.m. on Saturday, and viewing areas will be set up at a safe distance. Piracy. Dear residents, please make note to keep your pies safe during the pleasant weather we are experiencing. Several ladies have reported pies from their kitchens disappearing at alarming rates. Even worse, the picky culprit is leaving behind only the rhubarb pies. Until this criminal is caught or the bad weather returns, we remind our housewives to make use of their pie safes indoors or stick to rhubarb. A strike at Stafford Mine has been called. The idea first arose after the memorial of the 1888 explosion victims. Miners gathered in the home of Arthur Borowski to continue the memorial to their friends. They also recounting all the promises the boss had enraged on the past year, including basic safety measures to avoid another explosion. A group of 20 miners entered the mine to begin the strike, and 30 more joined them before morning. Work has been stopped at the mines, and the miners are now striking in 8-hour shifts. Their wives and children have begun to bring food and water for the men. The bosses have stated that the mines are safer than they were a year ago, and that there is no need to act in this manner. New old store in town center. The old Picmax hardware store is set to have its grand opening this Saturday. We received a sneak peek of the store yesterday, and our town will benefit greatly from this new addition. Roy Berg is bringing 25 years of experience into this new venture and has stocked the shelves with all the nuts, bolts, and nails you would need for any project, plus the latest in tools. Stop by to see the latest trends in everything from hand saws to hammers. Best of luck to Mr. Burge. Possum Massacre. Severe violence broke out at the Stafford Mines strike today. The bosses arrived to attempt to renew talks and were taunted by some of the children present. Rocks were thrown at the National Guard, and the strike breakers opened fire on the crowd. After a few minutes, the smoke cleared and the glory scene revealed. 9 miners had died, with a dozen more injured. A young brother and sister were also shot dead as they were delivering a package of food to their father and uncle, who was on strike below when the shooting broke out. The photograph of the 2 children, aged 7 and 9, were shot in cold blood, has circulated far outside of our little county. The hideous act led to a personal visit from the governor to the strike site to meet with strikers. Independent inspectors were also brought in, and talks finally began. 45 days since the start of the strike, the bosses have agreed to comply to the current safety standards and to honor the demands of the miners. Okay. Events. The last trial will make its run September 4th. Bernie Goss, the longest employee with 25 years as an operator, will pick up passengers starting at the Market Tree Market Street Tunnel entrance will end at the trolley garage where light refreshments will be served and a speech will be given by the Congressman Archibald Reed. Twin Club will be meeting at the Stags on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. This month, Craft will be knitting hats for soldiers along with a potluck. All mothers of twins of any age are welcome. Spectatorial happenings at Possum Jump. Two local sweethearts were startled this past Sunday night as they hiked along the wooded overlook known as Possum Jump. According to the Lovebirds, at approximately 11:45 p.m., a figure appeared to walk from the edge of the cliff onto the open air and then disappeared. Forestry workers in the next morning were unable to locate any evidence of anyone having leapt from the great height, leaving the exact nature of what the two saw a mystery. A decent hike up into the state forest hills, Possum Jump is famous for its beautiful view of the Echo Reservoir. It also holds historical importance as it hosts the lonely graves of several persons involved in the Possum Massacre. Strike slumbers on. The strike is now into its 30th day with no end in sight. The bosses have refused to meet with the miners, saying their demands are too fantastical. Miners claim they are only asking the bosses to adhere to safety standards that are already the law. The National Guard have called in after last week's scuffle, and the Colson Coke Works Union has joined the cause, which has caused an uptick in national press arriving at the site. The Women's Camp has expanded its services from serving meals to beating any non-union miner from entering the mines. So far, they have been successful in both ventures. Sound off opinion line. We would like to remind the men of our town to please refrain from spitting on the sidewalk. This unsanitary habit is unseemly and beneath you. Parents, please make sure your daughters are not participating in new trends of skirts showing the ankles. I do not think we need to remind you which road of brimstone this temporary fashion trend will lead your dear daughter down. I have been witnessing more and more teenage girls coming into our town on a Saturday night, unchaperoned, using vulgar slang terms, certainly unfit for me to print here, and blocking the sidewalks by walking arm in arm. They are loud and also flirt with boys unabashedly while smoking cigarettes. These young ladies need to be stopped before our young ladies get any idea or our boys fall in with the wrong girl. Younger men have been seen around Possum Springs engaging in the ridiculous behavior of wearing mismatched patterns in their suits. This type of outfit may be all the rage in Bright Harbor, but good luck getting any respectable businessman around here to employ you. You all look like rabid clowns. Councilman Petrowska's plans for 3rd Street is a joke. What else is there to say? Ghostly rumor haunts new historic society. The Possum Springs Historical Society conversation of the strategic houses into its new headquarters and education center has hit a snag. Custodial head Jed Newham has resigned, citing strange occurrences in the old manor. I'd be there after hours doing my work, and I'd hear someone walking around trying doorknobs. I come out to see who was fooling, but there was nobody there. And Newsom trying to get this map room operational for the children. All the while, I'm looking over my shoulder expecting to see God knows what. Mr. Newsom had previously requested to work only daylight hours when other staff were present in the building, but even that proved to be too terrifying. I don't go to the off-limits area anymore. I don't go up past the 2nd floor, then only to go to the office. I know the others laugh, saying I see little Joe or something, but they can all go spec. Lil Joe, for the uninitiated, was a local ghost story popular some years ago. Possum Springs Historical Society has refused to comment on nuisance claims at this time. Deep Hollow County mourns. The final group of bodies from the 1888 explosion has been recovered 2 days shy of the 1-year anniversary of the tragedy. These 5 men bring the total of dead to 112. 2 of the men, Addison Pine and Henry Harvey, were the ones who set off the explosion. Although mine bosses have been informed that gas pockets were present in that section, they elect to not inform Pine and Harvey of the possible danger. The other 3 bodies belong to Peter Bledsoe, Christian Standoff, and Peter Lathara. Peter Lathara's funeral arrangements will be handled by Father Latiz, as the man's widow has since returned to Hungary with his 2 orphans. Strange But True, A Tale of Teeth. Strange But True is our ongoing series about the weird and forgotten aspects of Deep Hollow County history and culture, published weekly. Bad Bosses figure heavily into Possum Springs history, and the morbid tale of crime and secret societies is no exception. The story goes, in 1870, a local mine boss was skimming workers on their pay. A group of miners confronted him while he was in the act. He denied everything, with many a slur, and punched the miners' leader, Darnell Glaze, in the face, causing him to lose his last remaining tooth. The miners knew how much Darnay's tooth meant to him, and they descended on the boss. A few held the boss down while others removed all his teeth with pliers. The teeth were passed out to the miners, and a secret society was created with a vow to protect the miners' interest. Membership was based on owning one of these teeth, which was marked with a symbol of their choosing. These symbols were used around the coal patch to organize meetings and make announcements. The boss survived his attack, but never named his attacker for fear of implicating himself. When died a few years later, members dug up his grave to retrieve his skull. It was used in ceremonies performed before going out for retribution. All would gather around, place their teeth into the sockets, and later retrieve their teeth after the retribution was completed. Upon a member's death, their tooth would be passed to a new member. Teeth of members in jail would be left in their sockets until the fates were decided. After the strike of 1889, the society dwindled. Occasionally, a descendant of one of these men would find a tooth with strange markings in their home. Strange, but true. What am I looking for? trying to get back to where I was. Because I didn't think that that was going to not save. Oh, look! Squash so I can see. Graveyard, that's a gimme. I mean, if you're looking for ghost stuff, that's where they make them a lot. Looks like they saw him in the old section. Oh, cool, that's where his grave is. I'm actually interested in that. How could you not be interested? This is like actual dangerous ghost stuff. I like history. Ghosts are history, history that won't stay history. That's actually pretty good. Hey, hey, hey! Ghost spotted! Historical Society? History that won't stay history in a history place. History place. Yeah, I've never been. You didn't go back in school. I think this was when I wasn't in school. Oh, after the softball incident? Yeah, I mostly just watched TV and did therapy. Well, it's actually a pretty cool old house. It used to be owned by one of the mine owners or something. Railroad mine, steel mills, something like that. An actual haunted house. No. Elementary school kids are there all the time. They have like summer arts and crafts programs. Oh well, still worth checking out. Hey, look at this. Yeah. Looks like Possum Jump. Let me read it. It's Possum Jump. Oh yeah, that's back up in the state park, right? Yeah. Ever been up there? Nope. Gonna check it out though. Go nuts. Okay, well that's like 3 leads plus Boogie. It's Boogie. Also, is that it? Nah, let's look for more stuff. Not great.